The Dodge Dart is a car many people today think of as cheaply built, dull to drive, and styled like something you'd see swimming around at your local Petco. But what if I told you it wasn't always like that? What if I told you that in 1968, one specific Dodge Dart was arguably the wildest performance machine you could buy at the time? Interested? Then stick around, because this is the full story of the absolutely insane 1968 Dodge Dart HEMI LO23. Welcome to Crypt. To understand the crazy history of the 68 HEMI Dart, we first need to look at how the Dart developed over the years leading up to this monster. Brief history of the Dodge Dart. The Dodge Dart first went into production in 1960 as a full-size car, because back then, bigger was better. That era didn't last, though. After just 2 years, in 1962, the Dart shrank into a mid-size vehicle. Then in 1963, it downsized again into what we'd now call a compact. The early 60s weren't fully into the muscle car age yet, but Dodge was already experimenting. When the first Dart models came out, you could option a 413 cubic inch wedge V8 that made a strong 415 horsepower, which was huge for that time. These wedge-powered mid-sized Darts dominated drag strips and ruled narrow two-lane roads across the country, helping cement Dodge's reputation for straight-line speed. Power options before 1968. Once the new compact Darts arrived, though, they felt weak by comparison. Until 1968, the most powerful engine you could get in a compact Dart was the 273 cubic inch V8, making between 180 and 235 horsepower depending on the year. Everything changed in 1967 when the true muscle car style Dart hit the market. Dodge began offering more V8 options, more torque, more power, and much more fun. Then came 1968, and this is when Dodge's engineers completely lost their minds in the best way possible. The madness of 1968. They decided to take the brutal 426 cubic inch HEMI, the same engine that was already crushing the competition in bigger cars like the Dodge Charger, and cram it into the lightweight Dart. For reference, the Dart weighed almost 400 pounds less than the Charger. But the engineers weren't done. The team at Dodge, who must have been running on caffeine, adrenaline, and pure chaos, decided to turn the insanity level up to maximum. Built as turnkey drag cars, the plan was to sell these special HEMI Darts as turnkey drag racers with no warranty. That meant a lot more work went into making them as fast and as unique as possible. The weight reduction strategy for the HEMI Dart was extreme. First, the rear seats were removed. Then the steel front fenders and hood were replaced with fiberglass parts. The window glass was made thinner, and the window mechanisms were removed entirely, because even that added weight, and for this car, weight was the enemy. Dodge even acid-dipped the steel doors to lighten them further. And no, the acid-dipped doors weren't the end of it. Dodge thought the stock compact car seats were too heavy, so they replaced them with lightweight seats pulled from the A100 van. Since the car was built for straight-line racing, things like side bolstering didn't matter. Anything inside the car that wasn't absolutely essential was thrown out. This included the center console, carpeting, sound deadening, the heater, mirrors, and even the radio. After all of this, the HEMI Dart weighed about 3,000 pounds flat. Exterior modifications. On the outside, Dodge added a larger hood with a massive air scoop to feed fresh air into the fire-breathing 426 HEMI. The rear quarter panels were modified to fit the huge tires needed to get this monster off the line without spinning into a Mustang-style crowd control situation. Now, you might think that with all this extreme weight reduction, the HEMI Dart would be a track-only car. But this was the 1960s, a time when rules were more like suggestions. So yes, you could drive your HEMI Dart on the street. It wasn't recommended, but who was going to stop you? Under the hood, engine and drivetrain. The 426 HEMI came with 2 4-barrel Holley carburetors and a 10.25 to 1 compression ratio. On paper, the engine made 425 horsepower and 490 lb-ft of torque, but most experts agree the real number was closer to 500 horsepower. Buyers could choose between a 4-speed manual with the synchronizers removed to prevent misshifts or a 3-speed 727 torque flight automatic. Both versions used aggressive drag-focused rear-end ratios, 4.88 to 1 for the automatic and 4.86 to 1 for the manual. Dodge also upgraded the radiator, shocks, oil pump, and other important parts so the cars could handle the brutal racetrack use they were built for. Performance. According to Dodge, the HEMI Dart could run the quarter mile at over 130 miles per hour, with times just under 11 seconds. But Dodge's honesty was about as reliable as Bernie Madoff's investment advice. With very slight modifications, HEMI Darts were easily running low 10s, and with a skilled driver, they could even dip into the 9s. This world-class performance made the HEMI Dart the clear favorite in the Super Stock B racing class for years. Production and legacy. Sadly, Dodge only built 80 of these cars, and when the next model year came around, the option disappeared. For nearly 60 years, HEMI Darts have remained some of the most valuable and desirable muscle cars on Earth, often selling for close to $500,000 today. Not bad for a car that originally cost $4,200 in 1968. Adjusted for inflation, that's only about $35,000 today, which is roughly the price of a nicely optioned V6 Challenger. Times really have changed, and that is the full story of the 1968 Dodge Dart HEMI LO23, one of the craziest factory drag cars America ever produced. If you enjoyed this video, like and share this video with other car enthusiasts. Don't forget to subscribe to Crypt for more documentary-style videos.